What's going on, Minties? The Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to do a first look at the Punisher Return to Big Nothing trade paperback and the Savage Sword of Conan, the Cult of Kogathun trade paperback. So, stay tuned. Okay, now before we get started, I'd like to give a huge shout out to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending me advanced copies of these books so I can showcase them here on the channel so you all can decide whether you're going to pick these up or not. And let's see, we're going to look at the Savage Sword of Conan first. And before I get started, I'd like to say a quick word from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. Now check this out, Minties. Cheap Graphic Novels is currently running a special promotion for you all. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout and you receive a credit for free shipping on your next order.
This promotion is valid for U.S. customers only.
Cheap Graphic Novels, your source of the hottest books with a kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. Alright, so the cover is Alex Ross. This is beautiful cover of issue 1, and the contents of the book are Savage Sword of Conan issues 1 through 5. The first 3 are called The Cult of Kogathun. Now, let's look in here really quick. Here you have an ad for Conan the Barbarian. That's the Jason Aaron run. And here is the table of contents, which just tells you the writer, the color artist, Richard Eisenoff, and Ron Garney. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of the artwork here. Here you have the variant cover, so I'm glad they kept those. And, of course, the beautiful Alex Ross cover. Not that there's anything wrong with Ron Garney's cover, but it's Alex Ross. Even though, for some reason, this skeleton has entrails. I found that pretty interesting. Now, really quick, looking at the artwork, not to give anything away, because this isn't really a review. But when I opened this, I was like, well, let's look at the art so I can talk a little bit about it. Oh, okay. So I read the first issue, and I didn't stop. I literally read it this morning, and I was like, okay, no, I can't put this down. This is really good. I enjoyed the Conan book by Jason Aaron, but for some reason this one spoke to me. So the first 3 issues are the Cult of Kogathun, and then the other 2 are a different story. But what really captivated me was this wonderful artwork by Ron Garney. Now, Ron Garney's been a guy that I've followed for well over 20 years. That sounds kind of stockish. I follow his artwork. And I hope this video does it justice. But I have never seen his art look like this. Now, he is a graduate of the Joe Kubert Art School. And here, it feels like he is really channeling his inner John Buscema. Like, it is gorgeous. I don't know what it is. It's sketchy. And the colors by Richard Eisenoff really make it pop out. Now, I've known him because of his run on... He's had a lot of runs in Marvel Comics, but the big one that stood out to me was the Wolverine Origin. Not the Daniel Way, but the original one by Paul Jenkins. But just Ron Garney's artwork really makes it work. It's messy, it's sketchy, and it pops out because of the colors. So both of them together, I don't know, it's just something stylistic about the art that really spoke to me. And the story is a lot of fun, and each of the covers is done by, of course, Alex Ross, who more and more is looking like Joe Jusko's art. And even the cover to issue 5, which I'll show here, this one here, I feel like he is channeling his inner Barry Windsor Smith. Colors are a little red on it, but, you know, not terrible. The build of the book is nice for something like this. Now, my question to you all, and I'm sure you'll have it for me too, would there be an omnibus of this when enough comics are collected? Like, once we get to, I don't know, issue 30, if the comics are still going. I mean, Conan is a big deal right now. They're releasing about 4 to 5 omnis a year. So, I don't see why they wouldn't. Kind of like they did with Star Wars. Let's go back. I don't want to ruin the ending. Kind of like what they did with Star Wars. Like, they have the new Darth Vader and Star Wars by Jason Aaron omnibus. I can see them releasing a Jason Aaron Conan omnibus. There's the Serpent Man. And I can see them doing a Savage Sword of Conan. Jerry Duggan. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Conan. So the Jason Aaron run. Now in the back here you get the variant covers. You have one by George Perez, Kevin Eastman, Carrie Andrews, Adi Granov, and then Mahmoud Asrar, who's the artist on the Conan book by Jason Aaron. So this has nothing to do with the classic omnibus, the Marvel Years omnibus that has come out, just to clarify. So now let's look at the Punisher Return to Big Nothing. Okay, here is Return to Big Nothing. It's a trade paperback. It's not an epic, which I'll talk about here in a second. It is retail price of $24.99, and even though it says epic there, it's not an epic collection. Epic was the line of comic books that Marvel had in the 80s, and where Return to Big Nothing originally came out. By the way, this is not just Return to Big Nothing. As you can see here, it also collects Assassin's Guild and Intruder. Now, Assassin's Guild was previously collected. I've always loved that cover by Mike Zeck, by the way. It's beautiful. And I know some people probably think that the outfit is cheesy with the white boots, but that's the Punisher I grew up with. Here's the table of contents. So, Return to Big Nothing is written by Stephen Grant, Mike Zeck, who kills it in this. Now, we've done an old reader, new reader on Kraven's Last Hunt, and his art on that was amazing. And John Beatty on inks, and Mike Zeck actually colors some of this stuff. Then we have Joe Duffy's Assassin's Guild. Now, Assassin's Guild was previously collected in Punisher Epic Volume 1. Intruder, Return to Big Nothing have not been, and I assume they're going to. I don't work for Marvel or speak for them, but I assume they're going to. That one's written by Mike Barron. Now, let's look at this really quick, because the big selling point is this. Now, before this guy came around named Garth Ennis, to me, Stephen Grant was the Punisher writer. He was the guy that did the 5-issue miniseries, and he did a lot of the early Punisher stuff, and then he did this. And I thought he really nailed the character. You sympathize with Frank Castle, and, you know, when he's gunning down the bad guys, like, you really are cheering him on. Now, the plot in this is pretty simple. It's the Punisher running into somebody that he knew in Vietnam. Now, this person was kind of shady, and he was smuggling drugs and dead bodies. Now, he is still smuggling drugs, but he's doing it in a bigger game, and he's doing things a little bit different. So, of course, he's going to put a stop to it. Again, this was in an Epic collection, so it was a little more mature rating for back then. It kind of reminded me of the plot of, like, Commando. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that movie, where he has to go and take out somebody from his past that's gone bad. Well, in this case, he's always been bad. There's flashbacks to when he was married and had kids, and just this whole tormented soul that he is, and kind of explaining who he is. But man, this is probably one of my favorite parts right here. It's when he sneaks into the prison, and he's a correctional officer, or he pretends to be one, and just, you know, to kind of interrogate somebody. But the whole time he's doing a countdown of this bomb that's about to go off so he can make his escape. And that's who the Punisher is. He's a tactical character like that. Like, that's what he does. He plans ahead. Here's this gorgeous artwork by Mike Zeck. I know when I do these first looks, I don't really review the books, but I had to mention how much that story meant to me. And this is Assassin's Guild here. A little bit of the artwork. If you own the first epic, you know that's already been collected. And the last story here, Intruder. Just to kind of give you an idea of what the artwork looks like in there. The book is right around 190 pages. Let's go to the back here. And the extras. Covers and original art. God, that's so gorgeous. Mike Zeck, still the man. And then the advertisement for the Epic Collection. I believe that's Volume 3, Kingpin Rules. And Volume 1, Circle Blood. And that was the contents of the books. In the comments below, let me know if you're going to pick these up or if you're going to pass up on them. And even though I showcased the books, I gave a little bit of my thoughts on what the stories are like. So let me know if you've already read some of these, if you enjoyed the Return to Big Nothing, or if you think it's going to be collected in an Epic collection one day, and if you think the Conan book is going to be an omnibus one day. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts. Don't forget to check out our Redbubble page, where you can get near mint condition logos on stickers and on t-shirts. You can also find us on Patreon. If you enjoy the content of this channel, please think about supporting us that way. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.